Hello and welcome to today's class. Today we're going to be taking a nice repetitive flow. So this is a chance to really feel into the body. Once you learn where the movement is going next, you can really tune into how your body feels taking each of these movements. So we're going to start the same as always, just coming into a nice comfortable seat and allowing yourself that time to arrive ready to practice. You may wish to close down the eyes or just soften the gaze. Taking a few deep breaths here, or maybe taking time to scan through the body, just allowing yourself that moment to check in. From here, we're going to find some circles of the head. So with an exhale, we drop chin to chest. And then we just slowly circle the head round. When your chin next comes to your chest, you'll send your circles the opposite way. Taking a final circle. And then bringing the head back to center. From here, coming into a side bend. So we place our right hand beside us. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale for your side bend. We're going to find a nice flowing side bend here. So we inhale, lift both arms. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale up. Exhale over. Just looking to begin opening up the body here. So you can just flow from side to side, maybe take a lovely big sweeping motion all the way around. Maybe you incorporate in some other movement here, maybe a bend into that arm. And you'll just continue to flow, finding your own pace. Taking one more to each side. And then coming back to sit tall. From here we come through onto all fours. So we find that neutral tabletop position to begin with. As always, we bring the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips here. And then we begin to find cats and cows. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, rounding through the back. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale to round. And again, you'll just look to find your own rhythm, moving between these two shapes, becoming a little bit more fluid each time you take this movement. Taking a final round here. And coming back to tabletop. From here, you're then going to extend your left leg out beside you and inhale to lift up. So you come into a gate post. So just turn so you can see me a little better. So the right knee is down, left leg is extended, the foot is in line with that knee, and we're trying to stay nice and tall here. So the hips are slightly forward and we're nice and tall through the crown of the head. The left hand will go onto that left leg. Inhale, right arm up, and exhale for a side bend. To begin with, we're looking forwards or maybe slightly up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. And then with your next exhale, turn to look at that extended leg. Inhale, lifting up, dropping that hand down beside you, and then stepping left leg back underneath. Switching sides here, so the right leg then goes long, foot in line with the knee, toes face forward, hips slightly forward as well. Right hand on right leg, inhale, left arm up, exhale, find your side bend. And again, we look either forwards or slightly up here. Exhale, turn to look at that extended leg. Inhale through center, lifting up and then bringing that leg back underneath. We're going to find a gentle variation of camel here. So we're going to bring our hands onto our hips, elbows are out wide. And then with our inhale, we begin to engage our glutes, push our hips forward. And with our exhale, open the chest towards the sky. So the elbows will begin to draw back. You just take this as deep as is comfortable for you, trying to keep the knees over the hips and getting that gentle opening into the chest. Taking another breath here. Inhale, lifting back out. And then with that exhale, we're going to come to land back on all fours. So very slowly and carefully land the hands down, coming back to that neutral tabletop. We're going to find a few rounds of thread the needle here. So we take our weight into our right hand. Inhale, left arm up, open into the chest. Exhale, thread that arm under. It slides along the mat. Fingertips go over to the right hand side and we turn the head to look towards them. Inhale, opening. Exhale, threading under. Taking 3 more here. Last one. Pausing here this time. As we come down into our thread the needle. This right hand might stay where it is, or maybe it creeps towards the top of the mat. One more breath. And then we slide our right hand back. Inhale, opening out. Exhale, land that hand down. We then switch sides. Inhale, lift the right arm. Exhale, thread under. Inhale, lift the right arm. Exhale, thread under. 3 more here. Last one, coming to pause here for a few rounds of breath. And again, maybe sliding that left hand towards the top of the mat. One more breath. Slide that left hand back if it's extended. And then inhale, opening. Exhale, land that hand down. From here, coming into child's pose for a few rounds of breath. So we sink the hips back. And then lower down over the legs. Taking a few nice deep breaths in your child's pose. Allowing yourself just that moment to rest, that moment to check in. And then from here, we're going to prepare to come into a downward dog. So the hands can walk forward if they weren't already. Lift the hips, tuck the toes, and then push yourself into that down dog shape. And as always, to begin with, you can find that little bit of movement, perhaps walking out through the feet. Take a breath in your down dog. Exhale, bring the feet towards the hands, coming into a fold, coming to the top of your mat. Inhale, rising up however you choose. If the arms are lifted, you'll draw them down with an exhale. Coming to stand tall, the hands can come to heart center or drop down beside you. We're now going to come to our repetitive flow. So we're going to take this through 3 times on both sides, really allowing you just to begin feeling into that movement. We start standing tall at the top of our mat, hands drop down beside us. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, draw them down to heart center. Loop the thumbs together and open the fingers out wide, creating this butterfly shape with the hands. Inhale, lift that overhead. Each time we do this, there's the option to find a back bend here. So if you want to, you can begin opening into the chest. Exhale, come all the way down into a fold. Inhale, step the right leg back. Exhale, lower down that knee and look forward, low lunge here. Inhale, step back to a plank. Option to lower the knees if you wish, holding in your plank. And then exhale, lower onto the belly. Inhale for a baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. This might be a slight hover and take a circle into the ankle. Or lift this up for a 3-legged dog. You can then exhale, drop the heel towards the bum, lift the knee towards the sky. And then find some circles with that knee, working into the hip. And then send it round the other way. Pausing here. With your next exhale, roll forwards, drawing the knee towards the nose. Inhale, send that leg away. Exhale, step that leg through. Inhale, looking forwards, low lunge. Exhale, step the back foot to join the front, coming into your fold. Loop the thumbs, inhale, rise. Exhale to heart center. Pausing, taking a breath here. We're then going to take that same flow through on the left side. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, heart center. Loop the thumbs, inhale, lift the hands, optional back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back, left leg. Exhale, lower and look forwards. Inhale, step back to your plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. That hover or that lift opening into the hip. And find some circles here, either through the hip or the ankle. Changing direction. Pausing. And then exhale, knee to nose. Inhale away. Exhale, step through. Lower the back knee. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, step the feet together, coming into your fold. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart center. Release the hands down beside you. Take a few breaths. Preparing to take that through for a second time now. This time we won't be doing the hip opening, and if you want to, instead of a baby cobra, you can come into a higher cobra or an upward dog if either of those are in your practice. You just choose what works for you here. So again, we start standing tall. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, heart center. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, the arms up. And exhale to fold. Inhale, step back, right leg. Exhale, lower, look forwards. Inhale, step back to your plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale for your choice of back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step through for your lunge. Inhale to look forwards. Exhale, step to the top of your mat. Come to your fold. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart center. Taking that breath here. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, heart center. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back, left leg. Exhale, lower, look forwards. Inhale, step back to a plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lift left leg. Exhale, step through. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, step to your fold. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart center. Releasing the hands. Standing tall, taking 3 breaths here. Preparing to take our third and final round. This time, if you would like to, you can come into a high lunge instead of that low lunge, but that is optional. Standing tall. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, heart center. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back, right leg, choosing your lunge. Next, inhale, step back to your plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, step through. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, step together. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart center. Pausing here for a breath. And then taking our final half here. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, heart center. Loop the thumbs, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back, left leg. Looking forwards. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, push up and back. Inhale, lift left leg. Exhale, step through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step to your fold. Loop the thumbs. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart center. Hands can remain at heart center or release down beside you. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, find a fold. We're going to step back and make our way into child's pose. So you can come straight to that child's pose. You could come to a downward dog before lowering down onto all fours and then sinking the hips back. Taking a few breaths here, just letting the body, the mind and the breath settle. Taking a final breath. And then inhale, lifting up to seated. Coming into your choice of seated position. I'll just pause here for a moment. With our inhale, taking a lovely big sweep of the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, draw that down. The hands can remain here at heart center, or perhaps you bring them into another meaningful gesture. Just taking a moment to pause and end our practice with gratitude. Thank you for joining me for this practice. I hope to see you on the mat again soon.